What's going on, y'all? So we got some delusions going on here that we need to clear up real quick. Dreamcast guy obviously wanted to hit some sort of trend, which I kind of think is funny. New leak says all PS5 games going to PC for free. Well, he's doing it to click people in. And then you got this guy who's delusional too, who still has me blocked, talking about rumor, crossbuy, PS5, PC coming soon. Correct. Is that correct? No, it's all delusion. And of course, we got another fanboy here talking about Xbox leaks, PlayStation follows. He's a grifter. He does nothing but positive Xbox content for his position, but it's all fake. Porter clears it up. Just a bunch of avatar tools right here. While waiting for PSN availability changer, I have released a new tool, Avatar Changer. Log in with, that right there. Manage your avatars for free, paid and free. New symbols will be added soon. Website tool. But here are some nice new features from the PlayStation. Yes, some are old, other unseen. They kind of echo mode, PS5, PC games crossbuy. What this is signaling is a PlayStation PC launcher, if anything. And I've told people about this before that if they're not going to keep playing that game, eventually they're going to launch their own app and close that off, and you're going to have to use Sony stuff. And then you got people saying that they're copying Microsoft. No, they're not. This has been around. Crossbuy includes downloadable version of the PlayStation Vita system. Just like Game Pass is a copy of PlayStation Now, but Sony went and improved it because they made an improved copycat version. They did. Sony allowed you to share your games for free on PS3, and then they put that on PlayStation or on the Xbox aspect as well. They copy a lot of things they have done too, big time. So all that is shut down. Ain't no games coming to PC for free. Get out of here. Don't try to get no angle and start being a moron just because you think something's going to happen from your loser brand. No, let's go ahead and shut all this down because this is the type of stuff that happens when you have grifters going to be able to get an angle and think Xbox is going to get some. No, 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 no. All shut down. Destroying all this garbage right now. So this guy says, LOL, PlayStation always copies Xbox, right? Like Portable comes again, the rumor was fake. I'll still clown them for thinking Xbox was first at it because they were not. This has been a thing Sony did for quite some time. Sony's been had their own cloud service too, with PlayStation Now. Just saying, they've done that for a while. So yeah, there you have it right here. Why would Sony do that and destroy their identity like these morons? They're not going to do that. No, if anything, you are not going to be getting any more PlayStation games on Steam, and they're going to be bringing a PlayStation Launcher app for PC so that if you had a game on PlayStation or maybe some avatar, whatever the hell they're going to do, it's going to be something between the PlayStation ecosystem. Then you're going to have the PlayStation handheld coming in too. So it's going to be something like that. This has nothing to do with anything like that. So yeah, and then nobody copied nobody by doing a launch app because that's been on PC and everybody's been doing it. EA's been doing it. Ubisoft's been doing it. No, you were copying them, if anything, in that regard. So we have to go ahead and shut all this nonsense down before these bots go on a diluted spree because somebody over here can't do their stuff right and don't know what they're doing. And he's like, I don't see how this works. They're not going day and date unless it's just gas games. They're likely old games. Once again, he's wrong. But I mean, it's Zubitech. This is a guy that tried to go to PC and put his stuff in the gray and then went back to PlayStation. Yeah, he's a moron. Copy an Xbox? No way. No. This has been a thing, like we said here, cross-buy. Sony does a pro-consumer thing, ignorant fans. You see what I mean? So it's for the new PlayStation handheld. The game you bought on PlayStation 5 could also be played on handheld. It's not going to be anything else. Sony is not going to miss out on money. That makes no sense. They're not in an Xbox position. They're winning. So yeah, nice try. Just watch the sign. They are separate labels. You cannot say that the PlayStation Link also supports PC or PC also supports the energy saving mode. You see what I mean? Does this mean PC day one and coming? But you see what I mean? That's not what that means. No. This is going to be Sony benefiting their own ecosystem. They are not in a cuck position. They don't need to do that. They can share their games later if they want to, but they do not need to do that. So I have to say, yeah, dude, it's not Xbox. See what I mean? You're delusional because it's not what that. That's not what that means. First, find out what things mean first. Don't jump the gun. You see? Sony did crossbuy way before Xbox did during the PS3 era. Right here. Right, because PlayStation has never done crossbuy before. Look, it came in. You see what I mean? They're, like I put earlier, Xbox fanboys are delusional. This is not anything new. The PlayStation already hinted at something like this a couple years back. Xbox innovates, PlayStation imitates. No, dude, you are wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. They do not know. No, no, no. You're delusional once again. You don't know what you're talking about. But you see what I mean? Womp womp coming in. Then we get this simple stuff right here. That's why people like Porter had to come in. And now you see why they attack them because they're straightening you out and they're saying, stop with your grifting garbage. See? It says right here, new symbols will be added. And here goes that symbol right there. You see what I'm saying? So this is between the PlayStation ecosystem. You think if this was going to be a thing, Sony will come out and make this official on their website and say, here's a new thing. But none of that happened. You see what I mean? And this is where you have to stop this type of nonsense. Dreamcast guy over here comes in and he's just like, yeah, there's no way that's what that is. Let's get into this. It's kind of funny. Here we go. Yeah, shut that stuff down. Sit down. Sorry. Stop being losers.
Just point out, a lot of people seem to be kind of pissed about even the idea of this. A lot of people saying PlayStation launcher copying Xbox. I just don't see how this works. They are not going day and date. A lot of people are basically saying, how could this actually make sense? Sony themselves has straight up said that they make tens of billions of dollars specifically because people buy the PlayStation. By getting a PS5, everything sold through the PlayStation storefront, they get a 30% cut. All the Fortnite V-Bucks behind games, like every random indie you buy, anything you play on the PlayStation, obviously Sony gets a cut even if they don't actually make it. That's the main reason that I feel like most games are not going to go day and date, is that right now, they have a money printer. I don't feel like PlayStation is really in that same effort to try and chase the Xbox trend of anything's an Xbox, right? But
no.
Look at this. Here's the button. It straight up shows.
That's them looking at damage control, their failures, and thinking that Sony needs to follow them and they're copying you because they're doing, man, ain't nobody copying you. Sit back. And once again, as you see, they were wrong. No, you were copying PlayStation. They've done methods you've done methods they've done, vice versa. But the thing is, they have a successful system. They chased you out the industry. They beat you every single time. So, yeah, no.
Cross-buy, PS5, PC, cloud gaming, everything here. Now, to me, this also shows something extra. There have been leaks specifically. There's two separate leaks that have gone around a lot for the last couple of years. First up is this efficiency mode, this gamer efficiency mode. Now, this has currently been actually instigated now inside of a couple big PS5 games. It's called like low power option. Now, what this does is it's not just basically playing your games using less juice. It's also additionally, people think this is related to the upcoming PlayStation 6 portable. There's talks that PS6 is actually going to come in two separate formats. First, you're going to have straight.
There you go. Like I said, that's the crossbuy. That goes the handheld aspect and you can sync that between your devices. You know what I mean? Between the handheld and the console, and it's the crossplay aspect. You see what I mean? And this right here, well, that was already solidified. And before Sony would do that, they would put their own launcher on there. I say, nah, you want our games, you better get on our PlayStation launcher. And Steam's not getting anything anymore, and you're not sitting there trying to bum off our games to the side. I'm telling you, they'll do a PlayStation launcher app. So don't think you're gonna get that. I'm telling you, just watch.
Straight up, just the normal PlayStation 6. More graphics, more power, probably crazy exclusives, right? But they're also going to attempt to release essentially their own version of the Nintendo Switch 2, a portable version that plays some PS6 games streaming, but will able to be play all PS5 games natively. You can install it, play it even offline fully, right? But in order to do that, they needed to have their games run more efficiently. This power save mode is apparently part of that push to be portable. But I think it's interesting that a lot of people are instantly saying,
yeah, because this right here is that DualSense aspect. You see what I'm saying? When you look right here, that's what that is. You could see that. Kind of like how you're tabbing and stuff. You see what I mean? It's like a little mode you press on PlayStation. Yeah, that looks like a little touchpad thing. Because that's a PlayStation symbol, you know what I mean? Go between these modes. So that's what that means. Let's stare first, then let's see it, and let's do some evidence. But of course, if you're a fanboy, you jump the gun hoping because it shows how desperate you are for damage control. And the desperation in the Xbox, well, is the highest you've ever seen in gaming history. It's embarrassing to us. Like, please don't be a part of gaming anymore because your desperation and your stupidity is absolutely just diabolically pathetic.
Sony might be preparing this. Keep in mind, there were these discovered leaks a few years back that Sony is working on a PC launcher. Now, I think a lot of people do not like the idea of the PlayStation PC launcher, specifically because right now there are so many launchers. If you play on PC, there's like, here's the Xbox app, right here. Here's my Xbox app, which I do think runs pretty dang well. I do think that there's a couple gripes I have. I think sometimes it feels a bit unintuitive. Obviously, I like the Blizzard launcher a lot. Super, super easy peasy. But of course, the gold standard is Steam. Now, this is the thing. Steam does what PlayStation does. It does what everybody does, right? Which is that by playing stuff, by buying stuff through this, Steam gets a 30% cut. This is technically a Microsoft game. This is an Activision Blizzard game, Diablo. You can see I've got 70 hours in this. I have 700 hours in this game on PS5, but because I bought it twice, once on PS5, once on PC, they both got a cut. Even though Microsoft is getting 7% of that, 60% of this money instantly goes to Steam, even though they're not doing any work. The thought is that essentially they want that. They want to be able to have that with a PlayStation launcher. They want to have an ability to basically have their own version of Steam on consoles. They want to have basically their own version of it. So now even if you're buying something, their games or something, you have to do it through their launcher. Now, here's the thing. The reason a lot of people don't like the idea of that is it's not just extra launchers. Right now, there are definitely way too many. There's GOG. What is that? Good old Galaxy. There's, of course, crazy stuff. There's, what's it called? Epic Games Launcher. There's tons and tons and tons of them, right? But I think a lot of people are also in the spot where, what if we start to see games not releasing on Steam? Like they come to PC, but in order to play it cross-buy, you specifically have to play it on the PlayStation launcher. Now, the other reason a lot of people are not a fan of the PlayStation launchers.
It's just being intelligent. It has nothing to do with liking PlayStation. It's just dumb for Sony to destroy their market when they're not in that cuck position. It does not make any sense, and everybody knows this. But of course, only on that side where you see that is that going to happen. Nowhere else, guys.
Specifically, is that it sounds like it's going to be mandatory, right? There's already been some stuff inside the code that the weird PC version, obviously when they released Spider-Man Remastered on PC, on Steam, there was this stuff inside the code that made it look like maybe it's going to require an activation, that you have to basically be logged in. There is some stuff that already kind of does this. I have Game Pass, and when I have Game Pass, it works on the Game Pass app, or I guess I don't have Game Pass anymore because I canceled it, but you can play stuff here on the Game Pass app, but if for some reason it closed, if you were trying to play something, like there are games right here, if I connect Game Pass, I can actually play all these games up here. StarCraft, everything, right? All of this is included in Game Pass, but you basically have to register multiple apps that all talk. I've seen some people say they don't like the idea of a cross-buy PlayStation launcher because it means you're instantly going to have to basically be locked in, even if you prefer Steam, if you like Steam, it's a
Yeah, but once again, with all that disrespect and all that, like I said, I don't blame that. That protects your identity. You need some type of identity. And actually, this is good because as a PlayStation player, you're going to be able to keep that inside of the PlayStation ecosystem. That's a smart thing to do. You want more identities. You don't want just one thing having everything, because then that just kills creativity, innovation, and competition. You don't want that. You see what I mean? That's only for people that are losers. You see what I mean? That don't understand that identity. They don't. Now, do that between your ecosystem. Keep that competition going. If that means more innovative exclusives over there, so eventually one day that may be possible. You'll be on your PC to still be able to do it. You won't need a PlayStation. How's that? That's still good in a lot of ways. It's just not on the platform that you prefer if they want to do that. So, I mean, I can't see it being anything else.
Another launcher that requires constantly being on in the background. Look at this. I mean, evolving into an ecosystem is kind of the next logical step for these consoles. Thing is, Sony's going to somehow manage to do a better job of it despite Microsoft having all the time to make sensible decisions.
100% correct, because Microsoft is dumb. Everything they do, nobody likes. They don't know what they're doing. You have all that money, but you have no brains. Sony's always outsmarted them for the longest. It's like Nintendo outsmarts everybody else. There's no doubt about that.
This should be cool, but it's likely for the handheld like they did with the Vita, or maybe all three, which is even cooler. Well, they're specifically going with a hybrid, so it makes sense to have the same thing as Xbox, and to be fair, it is pretty great. Xbox doing things PlayStation always follows. Now, if you were not around during the PlayStation 3 era specifically, this was something that really existed mostly with the PlayStation 3. There was a device that at this point is pretty much lost to time. I feel bad that people don't remember the PlayStation Vita. I actually used to review games on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita. That's how damn old.
That's because you're a gamer and you actually game.
Old I am. I mean, look at my face. You could tell how old I am. But there used to be some games that actually had cross-buy. If you bought it digitally either on PS5 or sorry, either on PS3 or the PlayStation Vita, you could download it in either place or both places. So you could actually play it on the go, pass your save file back and forth, progress on one or the other. There were some games where you even had to buy it separately, but it did still have cross progress. Final Fantasy X actually had a PlayStation 3 version, the remastered edition. You could play it on PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4, but pass the save files to the PlayStation Vita version back and forth. It worked great. It was honestly kind of cool grinding on one and passing the trophies back and forth and stuff, right? But there are some people that are instantly like, man, I remember when they included Steam codes for porting to the PlayStation 3 version.
So we get the idea, don't we? We see how delusional Xbox fanboys are, but this isn't nothing new. So there we have it, guys. Because you want to know why they jumped for that? Because they thought that Magnus was going to get all that. Yeah, right. Sit down. Why would Sony do that? That's suicide. Like I said, neutrally speaking from a gamer, just shows how dumb they are. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys think about this. Peace out.